Hello, I'm Rabbi Garfinkel, and welcome to RabbiPod. This week's Torah portion is Bereishit, the first Sedra in the Torah, beginning with the first chapter of Genesis. Today, we'll be looking at one of the last verses in the Torah portion, where God regrets having created humanity in the first place. In chapter 6, verse 6 of Genesis, the Torah says, vayitatzev libo, which means that God's heart was saddened. This passage is very challenging to people who believe in an omniscient and omnipotent God. If God truly is all-powerful and all-knowing, then how is it that he can be saddened by humanity's behavior? He should have known full well what was going to happen, even before he created them. So why was he saddened when the state of human morality fell to pieces? One answer to this question is provided in a Midrash taught by our sages. The Midrash says that once a certain non-Jew approached Rabbi Joshua ben Korcha and said, "Don't you Jews believe that God can predict the future?" Rabbi Joshua said, "Yes, we do." The Gentile said, "But isn't it written in your Torah that God felt regret for having created humanity and that his heart was saddened?" In other words, the non-Jew was saying that God should not have felt regret or sadness for having created humanity, since he knew what was going to happen all along. Rabbi Joshua said to the Gentile, "Do you have any male children?" The non-Jew replied, "Yes, I do." Rabbi Joshua asked, "What did you do when the boy was born?" And the non-Jew said, "I rejoiced, and I rejoiced some more." Rabbi Joshua asked, "But you knew that one day the boy would die, so why did you rejoice?" The non-Jew was puzzled and said, "At joyous times I rejoice, and at sad times I mourn." Rabbi Joshua said, "So it is with the Holy One. For as Rabbi Joshua ben Levi said, God mourned 7 days before destroying it, as it is written in Genesis chapter 7, verse 10, and it came to pass after 7 days. The parable is telling us that yes, God is all-powerful and all-knowing, but that doesn't mean that God wasn't devastated and disappointed in humanity's lack of morality. Even though we all know that the people we love are one day going to die, that fact doesn't prevent us from being sad when they actually do pass away. Moreover, this Midrash teaches us that God sat Shiva, meaning that he mourned for 7 days, just as we Jews do when our loved ones pass away. The moral message is that mourning and crying is not an act of weakness, but an act of godliness. If God himself went into mourning, who are we to hold back tears when tragedy strikes? And that's the end of this week's episode of RabbiPod. I'm Rabbi Garfinkel of Temple Beth El in Somerset, New Jersey, and I wish you a day of Talmud Torah Lishma, the study of Torah for its own sake.